What if, tomorrow morning, you woke up and all money had disappeared? Not just the cash in your wallet, but your bank accounts, your credit cards, your crypto investments. Everything. Gone. Vanished into thin air. How would you buy your morning coffee? How would you pay your rent? How would our entire civilization, built on the flow of currency, even function? For thousands of years, money has been the engine of human progress, evolving from simple shells and gold coins to the complex digital systems we use today. But what if that engine suddenly sputtered and died? Would a new era of kindness and cooperation dawn, or would we descend into chaos, fighting for the last loaf of bread? This is the story of the day the money died. At first, it would be sheer confusion. ATMs would just blink with an error message. Stock markets would flatline, not because they crashed, but because the very concept of value they measure no longer exists. People would rush to stores, but the doors would be locked. What could you even buy with? A man holding a simple loaf of bread would suddenly be wealthier than a billionaire who now owns nothing but useless numbers on a frozen screen. Society would be thrown back in time, forced to rely on the oldest form of trade, bartering. You trade your medical skills for a bag of potatoes. You exchange a spare blanket for fuel to keep your family warm. But this system has a fatal flaw. What if you have nothing that others want? The inequality doesn't vanish. It just changes form. People would quickly realize a hard truth. Money was never the root of the problem. The real currency has always been trust. After the initial shock, human ingenuity would kick in. Communities would start to organize. Local networks would spring up, where people trade skills instead of goods. A retired carpenter fixes a neighbor's fence in exchange for fresh eggs from their chickens. A musician plays for the community, and in return, they ensure her family is fed. Technology once used for banking apps would be repurposed. New platforms would emerge, not for trading stocks, but for tracking favors and exchanges in a digital ledger of goodwill. It wouldn't be cash, but a reputation-based economy where your value is tied directly to your contributions. But even this utopian vision has its cracks. Without a common measure of value, how do you ensure fairness? What stops someone from taking more than they give? How do you trade with a community 1,000 miles away? The system is fragile, built on a trust that can easily be broken. Before long, new forms of power would emerge. Natural leaders would rise to organize these barter systems, setting standardized exchange rates to keep things fair. A bushel of wheat is worth 2 hours of labor. A handmade shirt is worth 3 chickens. It all starts with good intentions, but doesn't it sound familiar? Within months, those who control essential resources, food, water, energy, would start to control people. Power, once held by the wealthy, would concentrate in the hands of these new resource barons. And just like that, the ghost of money would return. Not as paper or coins, but as promises, as influence, as control. Because even if you erase every dollar from existence, you can't erase the concept of value. Human nature would simply reinvent currency in a new, perhaps more primitive form. A world without price tags might seem idyllic, a return to a simpler, more connected way of life. But it also strips away the structure, the fairness, and even the motivation that drives much of our world. Perhaps the problem isn't money itself, but our relationship with it. Maybe it's not an evil to be eradicated, but simply a tool, a powerful one that we have yet to truly master. So the real question isn't about what would happen in a world without money. The real question is, can we learn to build a better world with it? Thanks for exploring this what if with us. If you enjoyed this thought experiment, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the unknown. See you next time.